What's happening, friends? We're back in Ronan's garage. So, remember me talking about the little shake that the car was doing? Well, there's two possible problems. One, I need to change my ignition coils, and two, I might have a coolant leak of the worst kind. So I decided to take the cheaper route. I changed one of the coils after, first of all, after doing some research, I switched one of my good coils for the one I thought was bad. And how I came to that conclusion was that I took out the spark plugs, checked all 4 plugs, and only one of them was wet. The other 3 were bone dry. So, reinstalled them, fired up the engine, let it run for a little bit. Engine code came on. Finally, after all this time, finally the freaking computer wants to throw out the engine code. Misfire cylinder 2. Was it cylinder 2? Yeah. So, misfire cylinder 2. Okay. So, sorry about that. I took out one of my good coils and exchanged it for the one in cylinder 2. It shook very bad at idle. Then later on that night, I tried it again and it wouldn't even crank up. And I go, oh crap. So, unplugged it for a little bit, plugged it back, still wouldn't start. Hit the accelerator pedal. It hesitated, it stumbled, and then eventually it started. All within under a minute. But it was running real rough at idle still. So I said, okay. Well, I already changed the coil, so maybe I just need to buy a brand new coil. Bought a brand new coil. It started up the day I installed the coil and didn't have any problems until that night. It got cold again and it wouldn't start right away. I'm like, crap. Maybe it's not the coil. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's the alternator or something is causing a disruption of energy from the coils, from the ignition pack, coil pack, to the spark plug. So I tried it again and it started up. Okay. So I'm sitting there thinking, maybe I just need to change all of them. And sure enough, I changed a second coil pack, brand new. Replaced the bad, took the bad one out, switched the 2 good ones that I had left, switched those around, installed a second new one, and it's been starting ever since. It still stumbles sometimes on acceleration, and it shakes, but the shakes aren't as bad as they used to be. It's gotten less. Which brings me to my third coil. So I said, okay, I know from what I've been seeing, I have a coolant problem. But I can't address that until I can make sure that the car is going to start. So that brings us here. So this coil, of course, you can tell it's pretty old. What is that? Denso. That's what it says. I like Denso, but I would only use Denso on import vehicles. I find that they work better on import vehicles than they do domestics. But it lasted, man, it's been holding up for some years. But while I was sitting there letting the vehicle idle, I remember a few times last winter, the car didn't start. Dead of winter, wouldn't start. I'm like, man, I gotta get to work, and this car won't start. So let's sit for a little bit, tried it again, still wouldn't start. So I waited a few more minutes, tried it again, it stumbled, hit the accelerator, blew out some smoke, cranked up. Well, like I said, it happened a few times throughout the winter, but other than that, it kept cranking up. So now it's happened again, but it's not winter yet. I'm like, okay, whatever the situation was then, it's getting worse now. Coil packs. I changed, so far, changed 2 of the ignition coils. Now, if I would put this one back in there, it would probably still work, but that shake, that stuttering would still be there, and it was very uncomfortable. I mean, I'm sitting at a stoplight, and I can literally see the steering wheel vibrate. Nah, not something I want. And then when I try to increase speed real quick, it's not responding. Not right away anyway. It takes a while for it to catch up, and then all of a sudden, it just takes off. So, me being cheap, of course, the first one that I bought was pretty inexpensive, decent. And I went back last week. Matter of fact, I went back last week and they didn't have it. So I had to get the more expensive one. But again, it started right up. It still hesitates sometimes during idle. But other than that, it starts right up. So I figured, hey, let's try 3. This is a company called Blue Streak. At least that's what's on the ignition coil. So today we're going to put in this third coil. Excuse me. And we're going to find out if replacing 3 coils will get rid of that vibration that I feel at idle. If not, I'll have to go to replacing all four of them. And of course, I still have that darn coolant system problem I gotta take care of. So, till next time, hopefully, I'll see you out on the road.